What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with a wild card edition of MLB Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a present of our great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. It is 8 p.m. Eastern time. It is 5 p.m. Pacific time. And it's just about to start the football game here for the Denver one. So wanted to get this in ahead of time. Plus, I fired up 2 bets already here for you for wild card playoff. It's week. It's not even weekend. So check it all out. Tuesday, 4 games, baseball throughout the day. You best believe I'm going to be in the premium Discord looking at bets, looking at pick'em cards, looking at everything I can to help you have an edge when we're betting the MLB playoffs. Yeah, playoffs. I'm super excited. And to celebrate, obviously, you can probably see behind me, we changed it up a little bit. It was an amazing MLB season, but it's not done yet. We're not done yet. And I'm bringing you something really cool. Get a month for the price of a week. $30 off. $30 off the month. It's just running for the monthly here. If you want to jump in for the entire duration of the MLB playoffs, which this will lead you like right to the World Series, use code WILDCARD right now at the link below. You can go to tails.bet/Lindy. I'm trying to throw free stuff up there from time to time for the people, as well as all of the great bets here in the VIP section. In the Discord, you have access to me, which I think is the best part of it. We can talk through bets. You can throw your bets out there for me. We can go through our process. We can help each other make some money together, which, again, for $19.95 right now, less than $1 a day, well less than $1 a day. Oh, it's a great time to jump in for these MLB playoffs. So you can take advantage of that code WILDCARD. Don't know how long that's going to be around, probably until the end of the wild card at the end of the week. So take advantage now. That's really all I got here for you. And wouldn't you know it, we're going back to the old format. I'm going to break down every game, leans, likes, locks, and I do have a lock. Let's get to it. Oh, friends. It feels right. Even on games where I don't have plays, we're going to go back to the old school format because there's not 15 games. I'm able to put these together and I can do it like a normal person. And I think for NBA, got a process in place where I think it's going to be easier for me to do this. Have some camera equipment coming as well. Got some cool mics. I mean, we're going to be revamping Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks for the NBA season. Plus, it might be in the mornings. We'll see. Early in the morning. Figure it out. I'll be less annoying then. Detroit taking on Cleveland. And I will say this, Gavin Williams, I almost fired the under for it. Still sitting at plus 105 if you're so inclined. I think we can get a little bit better on that side of things. You're going to be getting a Detroit lineup that obviously has the lefties, Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green. There's a ton of familiarity with both of these teams, with each other being divisional rivals. And I don't know, Detroit completely shitting the bed in order to not win that division. Cleveland, unbelievable stuff that they are hosting this series between the two of them. But Detroit's interesting for me because you got Tarek Skubal here. And I keep going through the walk rates individually for most of these guys. Like Petey Halpin, I don't think will be on the wild card roster. I think there's another wild card roster thing coming up later with the Dodgers. We really got to pay close attention to with Will Smith. But George Valera, he'd been batting second, but as a left-handed bat, I'm just curious how they're going to put together their construction of like, you can only have so many guys called up for this roster to have active on this roster. And I think he ends up on the outside looking in. Maybe they just have him as a relief option, considering all the bullpen arms. It'll be, for Detroit, they have lefties, righties. They kind of have the gamut, even though they haven't been good over the course of the last month and a half. And that's how they are in this precarious situation. But Jonathan Rodriguez, Gabriel Arias, none of those guys really, none of them really walk a lot. But Austin Hedges has a 10% walk rate this season. I think he ends up getting the catcher duties, and they'll save Bo Naylor for game 2 when they face a righty. Jose Ramirez, 9.8%. Kyle Manzardo, 9%. Daniel Schneemann, 9%, even if he ends up as like a very, very bottom half of the lineup guy, like probably the 8 or 9 hole as a second baseman out there for him. Walks are kind of the interesting thing. And Skubal has had, once again, AL Cy Young gear. There's no doubt in my mind that he's your AL Cy Young. That's why he's minus a bajillion for it. But 266 xwOBA looks great. 4.4% walk rate looks outrageous. And then you realize you're on the road in Cleveland. A lot of pressure. 3-game series. Again, best 2 or 3 that you're playing here in this wild card weekend. If you didn't know that, now you do. I think this gets to be one of those where they need him to go like 6-7 strong no matter what. And I'm kind of intrigued by 2-1 on walks. The pressure, everything kind of ramps up, and not to be like a no ball take guy, because obviously I'm extremely data driven, especially in the MLB, but I try to be very open to the idea that things change this time of year. And that's why I've been so successful betting the MLB playoffs over the last few years. I only put a quarter unit on this to win just over a half unit, but plus 208 is a huge number to be getting at DraftKings right now. It's also available at Onyx Odds if you have availability to that. So Tarek Skubal, he's unbelievable. But to find 2 walks here with this iteration, this, again, it's not a great iteration. Neither lineup are all that imposing relative to some other AL teams we'll talk about, but they're here for a reason. And that reason is they have pitchers. And, well, Cleveland's got the bullpen thing covered pretty top to bottom. And Skubal, he's ridiculous. So here you go. 1.5 walks, though. We're looking just for 2 free passes. And he can strike out as many as he wants going along. Sorry about that here. We got San Diego taking on the Cubbies. And as I look at the board for this one, I'm really paying attention to a couple of different factors. First off, what does the lineup construction look like for the Cubs? I think with Kyle Tucker back in there, Nick Pivetta out here on the bump, we're going to see very, very lefty heavy. And I think Moises Ballesteros becomes one of those guys you got to pay very close attention to, because if he ends up DHing, I'd be shocked if he DH'd for what it's worth. Kyle Tucker ends up DHing here, but I don't know what Moises Ballesteros is going to do. Like, when are they going to pinch hit for him in a spot? Or the guy had a 999 OPS over the course of the last however many weeks to round out the regular season. That's literally his OPS over the last month. Unbelievable run by him. And he won't even probably end up in this roster if they can't really make way for him, because they'll want to have like a Justin Turner righty option. Willie Castro, his multi-positional eligibility, even though he'll be on the bench more than likely for the entire duration of these playoffs unless there's an injury. Just an interesting Cubs construction. And that kind of leads me to San Diego, where I think it's far more clear-cut what they're going to be doing. And that is getting as much as they possibly can out of these starters. Pivetta, God forbid. I mean, you're looking at a real tough one here. And then you're going up against Matthew Boyd. He's had some cracks in the armor. He doesn't get a lot of strikeouts. 9% barrel percentage, which is actually better than the 10.9% barrel percentage for Nick Pivetta. But with this weather in Wrigley, I think this really plays into San Diego's pen. And I wish I was getting a little bit better number here, because their lineup grades out better against Boyd than I have for the inverse, the Cubbies. Unless Kyle Tucker just, becomes Kyle Tucker right from the get-go here, DHing, taking care of himself. But also through a PCA hit down in the corner, I assume he bats 7th. That's kind of what we've seen against some of these righties, but maybe he moves up a little bit in the order. Maybe there's something that kind of takes way there. I just get worried about the pinch hitting situation, because I do think there's lots of ways where a Willie Castro or somebody against the lefty coming out of the San Diego pen might set up for PCA to actually get pinch hit for. But defensively, in a 3-game series, you still want him as your center fielder for every single inning if you can help it, unless it's a very high leverage batting situation. But that stuff does happen. This is do everything you possibly can to win time. That's what makes these fun, and that's what makes them fun, not just for betting now, but live betting. I probably do a little bit more live betting for these games than I do any other time of year, as you start to figure out the matchups. When is Mason Miller going to enter? Obviously, you want him closing, but there's times that you might actually bring him in, bases loaded, 7th inning, 8th inning kind of situations. Those are the things you try to take advantage of. And if you can take an under on a guy advantageously or take an over, we will do so. The VIG can get a little out of control in some of those spots, so we want to be careful. But I promise I'll be in there breaking it all down. All right. Those were leans. Those 2 were leans. We have the Skubal play. One more lean as we talk through Boston and New York. This is a game I'm very much looking forward to watching. You get these rivalry games. I mean, obviously, Detroit and Cleveland are same division, but let's just say that Boston and New York have a little bit more history on them and a little bit more high-stakes matchups and voltage matchups. We're getting a best 2 out of 3 Boston-New York series. This is like Christmas to baseball fans, and I'm stoked for it. You're stoked for it. Are Red Sox fans stoked for it? I don't know, but the bats have gone quiet at times. And then we got 2 really good southpaws on the mound. Garrett Crochet against Max Fried. 295 xWOBA, 275 xWOBA, respectively. I mean, just a ridiculous amount of pitch mix. And then looks like it's going to be decent enough hitting weather there in the Bronx, but winds coming in a slight bit from left, 75 degrees, 50% humidity. I should have talked a little bit more about Detroit, Cleveland, wind blowing in, San Diego, Chicago, wind blowing in. And then the one game on the slate with wind blowing out, Cincinnati and the Dodgers. We'll talk about them next. But just to give you an overview, a lay of the land for this game, Garrett Crochet is very, very good. There's no question in my mind. But the Yankees bullpen, I think this time of year, you can throw all of your pre-notions away about how bad they've been, how good they've been. I think what you have to be able to look at is up against Boston. Aroldis Chapman is ridiculous. He is definitely the best reliever on both sides, but only going to show up in some of these high leverage spots. That creates a live betting opportunity yet again, where you might be able to get a little bit better price backing him going into a favorable situation rather than the Yankees going into a favorable situation. But you can kind of throw some of the pre-notions to the win because they'll do anything. It'll be quick hook season for anybody. It'll be win at all costs season. It is everything you want in a do or die type series in these 2 of 3s. I think that has me still looking at Garrett Crochet as the priority option here. Plus money coming in on the Boston money line. It's just on the outside looking in for me. If this gets to plus 125, I will absolutely play it. I have no qualms about it, but otherwise it's just a little bit thin. As for bats on the New York side, what happens with Austin Slater? What happens with Paul Goldschmidt? What happens with these righties who show up once you bring in a righty out of the Boston pen before you would set up an Aroldis Chapman? So lots to be paying attention to here, but just not my favorite betting situation, so I'm just keeping it off for now. Of course, we've got one play. I got another lock coming up for you next. But first, be like Lindy, join Tails today. Go to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays for Wildcard Weekend. I'm going to be in there talking nonstop, breaking everything down for you. I've got all the active rosters, got tons of prospective bets that I've already got circled, pinned, highlighted. I'm going to be firing them. If you guys want to come kick it, obviously you got the 50% off, but there'll be an expert picks feed, which will have tons of free stuff from tons of our experts over at Tails. Now's a great time to go jump over there, check it out. And hey, maybe you're somebody who has a lot to say about these playoff series, wants to fire up some bets for the people. You can do that. You simply go to the comment section below, sign up for Tails. Would love to see you there. Alrighty, y'all. Let's do it. To the lock we go. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we break down Cincinnati and the Dodgers. The biggest favorite that exists on the board, the Doyers. And obviously, them being in a 2 of 3 situation where they're not the 1 or the 2 seed is a little bit embarrassing for a team that had a 103.5 win total at Vegas entering this postseason. Pretty wild run out for them, but they're going to have a number of bullpen arms at their disposal after Blake Snell goes on the bump. First off, Hunter Green on the other side. He comes back to his homeland of LA. It's ridiculous to see him this big of a dog, considering, I mean, it's the freaking Dodgers, but coming back into LA, it's a tough spot. Wind slightly blowing out towards the right field pole for tomorrow. And you think about the lefty power and Freeman, Muncy, and of course, Shohei Ohtani, even like getting some of these guys like a Dalton Rushing, who probably looks all right there. A Rortvet doesn't really look all right, but might end up catching just depending on who wants to be caddying here for Blake Snell. And Blake Snell is the main prize in my eye of this game. Blake Snell's been ridiculous over the last month. People haven't paid attention. Over his last 5 starts, he has a 36% K rate to both sides of the plate, to lefties and to righties. Cincinnati has an active roster. Their projected 9 that I've got for tomorrow with an 86 WRC plus, so well below league average, and they strike out at a 22% clip, which is almost middle of the pack. That means that there is no planet where we should be getting minus 120 on Blake Snell over 6.5 strikeouts, and yet BetMGM said, here you are, enjoy, get your postseason started right. 1.2 units to win a unit here. Blake Snell over 6.5 strikeouts. I would bet this all the way to minus 140 for 1 unit. I would bet all the way to minus 150 for a half unit. So take that for what you will. If it gets north of that number, go ahead and leave it off. Plus 7.5. I can do the conversion for you in the premium Discord if you're looking for it, but all range of outcomes, distributions, and boy, Blake Snell breaks the chart for me tomorrow. Can't wait to watch him deal against Cincy. And yeah, quick hook if he gets himself in major trouble. But Blake Snell, this is not the do or die game. Game 2 absolutely is for whichever team loses this one. But as a big favorite, Blake Snell has been back on his ace stuff. Let's back him to be that ace tomorrow. It's all about that ace, No trouble. Get a month for the price of a week. $30 off right now. Code WILDCARD. I wanted to get people in here to be able to kick it for the entire MLB postseason because I know that's what a lot of people want from me, especially leading into NBA, which, by the way, you'll be getting a week of completely thrown together with the MLB. So you'll get MLB from me. You'll get NFL from me. And, of course, the MLB playoffs. So take advantage of this. Code WILDCARD. Get that month from 50 to 20. Would love to see you there. And that does it. Nice job, producer Eric. And nice hair. whatever. And that does it for another edition of MLB Lindy's Leans, Links, and Locks. Kicking the playoffs off right. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on it. Talk me into some of your plays. Plus, keep in mind these totals. They're all 7s, 7.5s. We're not going to see a ton of run output this time of year. We're not playing in Oakland anymore. Sacramento anymore. We're not playing in Tampa anymore. We got the big boppers, but we do have some hitter-friendly spots, and they're staying in these ballparks for all 4 games. Remember that as well. All right. Nothing else to say. Till next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Wild Card Tuesday. See you then. Bye.